Node.js creator declares that humans writing code is over. The JavaScript framework acquisitions continue. And believe it or not, there's even a new jQuery release. Let's get right into it. I'm your host, Jack Harrington, and this is the Front End Fire podcast. And of course, I'm with my two favorite podcasting hosts, TJ Van Tol.
Hey, everybody.
And Paige Niederinghouse.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey. Oh, wow, such great news this week. This is going to be fun. Let's get right into it. All right, I think we should start by going back to the future and see what's up with this jQuery release.
Yes, jQuery is back in the news.
What?
There is a 4.0 version of jQuery.
It's just 4.0? At this point, you'd think it would be like 20.0.
Well, this is back. I mean, jQuery dates back far enough that this was before Chrome popularized the we're just going to bump up our major version for just about anything. Because I feel like software used to be, I feel like you would save the major versions for something important.
Big. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like an entirely new idea, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, something revolutionary. And then I feel like Chrome was the start of this, maybe not, but like everything feels like now they just bump up the version number crazily. So
just go for it. Whatever.
We're just at super high versions of everything, but
yeah.
I mean, with Apple, it's like a yearly thing almost with iOS 26. And so, yeah, everybody just kind of like does their own thing completely on versioning.
Yeah. But regardless, it's a new jQuery release, the first in a very, very long time. And I think the reason to bring it up here, because I'm guessing most people aren't actively using jQuery anymore, but there's a solid chance jQuery is being used on something you work on or maintain. I looked at the stats for this because you see this stat quoted a lot. Currently, according to w3text.com, jQuery is used on 70% of what they deem popular websites still today in 2026.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
Like, for example, blues.com, our company's website for us still has jQuery on it because, you know, it's some just WordPress site, right? So it brings in jQuery and it's kind of all over the web. And so good on the jQuery team for keeping the thing up to date. There's not a lot in terms of new features here. The short list is that they dropped support for IE 10 and older because there was still some stuff lingering around. Again, jQuery tries to support just about anything out there.
IE 10. Oh my god.
This is like a blast from the past just even reading through this.
Yeah.
So they've also removed some deprecated APIs that now have a lot of that was just due to the old browser support going away. So their bundle size is 3 kilobytes smaller. So but at the
I was gonna say 3 kilobytes in total. Yeah,
at the scale that they operate at, right? Like if you have that sort of reach, every little bit helps save. They probably save a significant data transfer on the internet by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that they now support trusted types and trusted HTML. If you're not familiar with these APIs, these are newer browser APIs that help protect against cross-site scripting attacks.
Okay.
So they give you ways of, say, like sanitizing input before you pass it to inner HTML and whatnot. And before, if you tried to use those types with jQuery, you tried to like inject some HTML that had went through and been converted into trusted HTML. jQuery didn't handle that ideally, and now it does. So just small little things like that bring jQuery up to modern usage principles. And, you know, like I said, for our audience, this isn't, I'm guessing you're not going to be running out to upgrade to your sites or anything. But I mean, hey, if you've got like a marketing site or uses some template that has this, maybe just go in, bump it up, check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's most of that.
I think I also saw that jQuery is now using ES modules and roll down even. So, yeah. Getting pretty fancy and pretty up to date.
It's pretty modern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. You don't have to just include a script tag in your WordPress site anymore. Now you can
actually have like a package JSON.
Yeah,
right.
Actually build it in with modern build tools.
No more Bower and Gulp. and grunt.
Oh, terms I
I
had not
remember
heard
those
in
days.
Yeah,
in a very long time.
that stuff. Well, I don't know about that, but like I looked at Bootstrap again just recently, and it's kept up with the times. It looks good, and it's clean and it's fast and it's small. So I mean, that's kind of cool. And there's React bindings for it, so
Yep,
not
Bootstrap
crazy.
when I went to look at the list of sites that jQuery is used on, Bootstrap was second on that list. And I mean, serious shout out to the folks maintaining this stuff, because it is very thankless work. Almost everybody wants to work on the latest, the greatest, the coolest. But there's some serious value in keeping, arguably a lot more value in keeping some of this stuff that has wide distribution, up to date, up to standards. And so very cool.
Yeah,
I think there's like a whole subgenre of people who are of developers that work like on marketing sites. And I remember a job that I was at where I was talking to the guy who's maintaining the marketing site. And I don't know, for whatever reason, my VP was like, "Oh yeah, we should have React on there, blah, 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 blah." And I'm talking to the guy and he's like, "Oh yeah, I made up this framework on my own for marketing sites. And this is my primary business and all this kind of stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, we don't want to mess with this. Like, this is no." And they understand the whole like how to talk to marketers and CMS thing, and it was like, don't mess with that.
That is job security right there.
Yeah.
What's funny, I feel like that's one thing that has changed in me as a developer, because I remember when I was fresh, young, junior developer, I would look at these marketing sites and go like, "Oh my God, look at how unoptimized they are. And look at all this crap, and I can make it so much better." And then having dealt with decades worth of marketing teams, I'm now like, if they can go in and update it, great. Perfect.
Yep. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
I worked with one of those marketing teams who was dying to have a CMS driven site so that they could go in and make WordPress updates all day long. They were like, "We don't want to wait for the development team. We don't want to have to worry about you guys. We just want to go make new blog posts and make new landing pages and all of that without your help. Please help us get there."
Yep. There's 3 versions of jQuery on that page. It's loading in some strange way, but you know what?
Who cares? Who cares? Right?
Yep.
Exactly.
There's an iframe that's been wedged in. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's 17 tracker scripts.
Here is the login button. That's all I care about. Like, just make sure the login button is visible and is over. Whatever. And it calls this URL. Okay. Let's talk about never writing code again.
Yes. So Ryan Dahl, who's the creator of Node.js, and I also think the creator of Dino now, has thrown down.
Not to be confused with Roald Dahl, who's like,
he has thrown down a very spicy take on X that is really getting a lot of traction this week. And to summarize it and paraphrase it, he has basically said that the era of humans writing code is over. He wrote that, and then he followed it up saying, "It's not to say that there isn't still work for software engineers to do. There is, but writing syntax is not going to be a part of it," referring to the AI wave of letting Claude and Cursor and Gemini and all the others write your code for you. You test it, make sure that it does what you're expecting it to do, and move on with your life. And I honestly, after the last probably 4 to 6 months, I think he's not wrong, to be completely honest with my own experiences.
Well, there's a lot to discuss here, but first I just want to have a thought experiment here real quick.
Yeah, sure.
I want you to pretend that you have a printout of this tweet and also a time machine. And you get in your time machine and you dial it back. You go back 5 years into the past to the ancient times of 2021, and you drop that printout of that tweet on your desk. So then past you in 2021 comes to your desk. You're ready to work on your next, JavaScript, CSS feature from your backlog. Right. You see there a quote from the creator of Node.js saying the era of humans writing code is over in 5 years.
Right.
It's just mind-boggling.
And you light that on fire, you throw it in the trash, you laugh, and you get back to reading documentation and doing your thing.
Yeah.
Like, imagine we do these prediction shows, right? Like our holiday spectacular, we do prediction shows. Can you imagine in like even just like 3 years ago, you would have thought that was insane if somebody said that.
Yeah.
And yet, here we are, where we're kind of looking around going like, in fact, most of the Twitter responses are basically like, basically is more agreeing than disagreeing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like it or not, if you want to compete and stay relevant, I guess, in today's coding industry, even if you hate it and you don't like the way that it's going, it's kind of, you can't really ignore it, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
I think, though, like the nuance to his tweet is what really makes me most agree with it, because he's not saying we're all just going to be vibe coding our ways to successful applications. He talks about specific syntax, and that's the part that gets to me too, is that like I'm not going to handwrite a regex anymore. And maybe I'll lose some muscle memory from doing that. But the thing is, you still have to have some experience to know what you're doing and how you're assembling the pieces. And so I don't think that means the profession of software development is doomed in any way. In fact, I think if anything, there's going to be more of it going on and more demand of it. But I do think that, and this gets to your point, Paige, that it's just like an adapt or get left behind moment, because we just have to come to terms with the fact that AI is going to be writing a lot of our individual syntax for us, and we have to figure out how we're going to provide value on top of that. And it's a crazy new world.
Well, it really, almost when you think about it, it really emphasizes the thing that we've always prized as the really important part of software engineering, which is not necessarily that you can write a for loop correctly or that you can write the syntax the right way. It's that you can figure out what the problem is, break it down into small enough pieces, and actually solve it in a way that makes sense. And that's all programming is when you get down to it. Before, you just also had to know how to write it in Go or write it in Rust or write it in JavaScript. But now you're really just describing what the issue is and making sure that you catch those edge cases and have those safety mechanisms and whatever, and letting the LLMs, which have been trained on every programming language to the nth degree, write it for you and just verify that it works the way that you expect it to.
Yeah, the optimistic way of looking at this is that it's freeing of some of the rote memorization that's inherent to software development, because how much, I mean, it's just like a common joke that you just, small things like off by one errors or happening to pick confusing API names that you happen to pick the wrong ones. And when using AI, it's not like you're completely immune from those sorts of things, but they're definitely going to be a lot less frequent, because the AI is going to make a lot less of those just dumb, silly mistakes that we tend to make. Jack is looking at me skeptically, but
it's just a question really how well you prompt it. And that's the thing. And it's like, I mean, I think that if you have a lot of experience, if you're a senior developer and you've been around the block and you kind of know, like, okay, as I'm writing this, I would be on the lookout for X, Y, and Z, right? And you write that in the prompt and you write that in your tests, you're going to get a fantastic result and cool. But if you don't know those things, like if you don't know that, like, oh, okay, I don't know, some auth thing could be like a problem or something like that, and then you just let the AI just kind of go for it, like, what do you like? I don't know. And that's why, like, I think the whole vibe coded complete apps thing, that still doesn't ring all that true for me. But like, I just need to go and add on to this library, and there's existing art, and like I know how to actually specify what I'm looking for. Yeah, man, that's accelerated 100 fold. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, I think we've already kind of seen the rise and fall of the vibe-coded app, because people did that really early on. They put it out, the internet destroyed it by hacking it and immediately just, tearing it apart in every way that they could. And now we've seen a lot less of that. And now it's more like people who are in the development web space are talking about how they're writing little things for themselves. They're writing little programs and scripts and whatever helpers for them to do their jobs better, but they're not necessarily releasing it to the masses. And that seems like more of a reason or a good fit for vibe coding than, hey, here's my new website that's an e-commerce platform. Let's just put it out there and see what happens.
I vibe coded my own SaaS overnight.
Right.
Yeah. Good luck with that, big guy. Yeah. I don't even know what a SaaS is. It's sassy. Okay.
But yeah,
all
it was
right.
just such an interesting thing that, that with the creator of Node.js, who's so well respected and well thought of in the industry, was the one who said this. And yeah, I think with the nuances and kind of the additions that he made to it, not just saying our jobs are gone, but our jobs are fundamentally changed, I think that he's right.
Yeah, I think Opus 4.5 is really kind of an inflection point, because that, for a bunch of creators, a bunch of really good like OSS folks that I know, that was the thing that was like, oh, okay, it's actually writing code that like is really close to what I would have written. And, if I can, if it can accelerate me, great, let's go, yeah. Now, who's going to pay for all the money and the water, to feed Opus? I don't know, maybe big companies. Yeah.
Well, the flip side of that, though, is software developers are very expensive on a balance sheet. And when compared to that, a big Claude bill doesn't seem nearly so bad.
Yeah, you still need the pilot.
How is Anthropic going to be making money, though, is the bigger question. If they're burning through way more for each of us than we're paying them per month, that's not sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, according to their financial, the things they've put out, they're doing quite well for themselves. I guess we'll know more when they're planning to go public this year. We'll see if that actually ends up happening. And if that does, they'll have to release a lot more financial information than they do currently being private, and we'll have a better idea of. We know they're taking in a lot of revenue, but they don't have to disclose their costs, and they will legally have to do a lot more of that if they go public, and we'll probably have a better idea of what the financials look like of some of these mega AI companies at scale.
Yeah, I wonder how much you're getting like that gym model of like, big companies paying like a lot of money, but actually not getting a lot of usage from, they'll get a huge amount of usage from like one or two power users, but everybody else is just like, whatever, this AI garbage, kind of thing. And, and then so they just make a lot of money because they're getting these huge, per monthly revenue things that they're not actually using that much of. I think Paige, we talked about before. It's like, actual AI usage amongst, the non-techie people is like, 3% of the people that actually even have access to it. Yeah. They just don't care. Yeah. Crazy. All right. Let's talk about Astro. So Astro got, and speaking of content sites, Astro got acquired by Cloudflare.
Surprise!
Yeah. Whoa, crazy. I think it's kind of amazing. So they, Fred, who's the guy behind Astro, came out with a pretty interesting blog post where he was like, hey, the business has just never really worked out for us. We've tried a bunch of different paid offerings, and at the end of the day, we just couldn't make that work. And we were spending a lot of time basically, care and feeding those business initiatives, and not getting, and then ignore and not servicing the infrastructure, which is why everybody was coming to us. And so, Cloudflare acquired them, which doesn't leave many options in the pure open source space in terms of a server. I think there's now TanStack Start, and I guess Waku, if you and so that's and Cloudflare's idea around this was that they kind of needed that as like a way to create this virtuous cycle of create a site, deploy a site, that kind of thing. They are going to keep it so that you can deploy on anything. we'll see. I think they'll actually do that. Like I'm pretty trusty on Cloudflare, but they also acquired an AI startup for content at the same time. So it's interesting to think about that as like a flywheel of like, AI content into AI distribution on AI site into hosting, and you create kind of interesting kind of, flywheel for Cloudflare. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, this fits into their business model quite well because we've covered on the show before some of their efforts into blocking AI crawlers from their site if you use their ecosystem as well. So they seem to be really honing in on these content type of sites on their platform. So having one of the best, most modern tools for building content-based sites just, I think, logically fits in.
Yeah.
Right.
And reading through their announcement post, I got lots of, it mirrored to me a lot of the Anthropic and Bun situation because like that. So Bun also described how their attempts to build a business of their own was not going so well. And like Bun, like the Bun Anthropic situation, Cloudflare has said all the right things about we're going to make sure Astro stays open source, stays available everywhere, and which hopefully should stick true. I think part of the, there's the one nice thing is that by them saying these things public, they know they'll get some pushback if they ever make changes around that. So hopefully Astro is good. It did hit home a little bit because, I mean, our Friend and Fire website is an Astro site hosted on Cloudflare. So I
that's probably going to get a little bit easier.
Right.
Yeah. Just thought that was funny, but I have to imagine there's a lot of other people in those situations which probably led to this deal. But overall, I feel like it shows to me both Bun and Astro show that the best way to make money is just to build a really good tool and then to hope you become a dependency from somebody that has a better business model.
Yeah.
Just become like so good that you're critically important to somebody who can afford to acquire you. At least that seems to be the trend.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that none of the business models that Astro tried really took so that they could stay independent and just kind of do their own thing, whatever that was. But at the same time, it's kind of a guarantee that Astro will remain as a framework that we can continue to use, continue to get better, which is also great. Cloudflare seems to be a pretty good steward of companies or technologies that it acquires and says it will leave for the general population to be able to use and access. So yeah, I hope that that's all true, and congrats to Fred and the team. They've worked a long time to get to this point, and that's great that that's something that they don't have to worry about, at least going forward, is the funding part of it.
It's interesting how quickly this turned around. I mean, there was the $150,000 injection from Cloudflare, just as a, there you go. We just want, them Astro to be around. And then like a couple months later, like 2-3 months later, it's like, oh, no, actually, we're just going to acquire you.
Who knows? Maybe Fred was like, this isn't going to keep the lights on. You guys need to...
like $150K and
right.
Fair enough.
Not a single developer salary.
Yeah.
Right. I think like part of the reason this happens is because we typically, as developers, don't pay for software anymore. Like because that business model is basically dead, which means if you're building something like a Bun or an Astro, you get pushed into the hosting route, like hosted something, hosted database, hosted whatever. And the problem with that is that you're kind of going up against the Cloudflares and the AWSs of the world, because usually you're just building some service that sits on top of Cloudflare or AWS, which means you don't have much margin to work with there, which means just building that sort of business is just very, very challenging.
Yeah.
Yup. And that's kind of, a lot of conversations in the other open source areas around this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but that being said, I think this is a good outcome. Like you said, Astro
absolutely.
Astro remains open source. They've got a big backer. I think this is good news.
Yeah. It's a fantastic product. All right. Do we have any fire starters this week?
We don't, but we have some lightning news.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. Magic. Lightning round.
All right. I can take the first one of these. The first is that vertical tabs are coming to Chrome. So
yay!
This
All
is
right.
I actually can't believe that this hasn't happened already. But I mean, how many years has Chrome been a thing? A whole lot. But
finally,
they're now
somebody
available.
typed into Claude, "Hey, go make vertical tabs."
Yeah, exactly.
An hour later,
But
it's like, "Oh, okay, we have a whole new feature."
In Chrome 145, which what I have installed right now is 144, so this must be the next release. There's a flag you can set, so it's not going to be a preference right off the bat. It's Chrome flags. There's one. It's called vertical tabs. So once you get 145, you can opt in through a flag, and presumably then when they work the kinks out from that, it'll be available in a stable release. But I was surprised that this wasn't a thing already.
Yeah. All right.
That actually surprised me more than anything. But I guess if you're a vertical tabs type of person and you're a Chrome user, FYI, that is likely on the way to a stable release soon.
Nice.
I'm very much a vertical tabs person.
I mean, Arc seemed to be the catalyst, and then everybody got on the vertical tabs bandwagon and talked about how great it was. So
I tried it for a while because Firefox recently added. They also jumped on the bandwagon. Firefox added them, and I enabled them for a while, and I ended up disabling them, but mostly just because of just so much muscle memory from having them on the top. Like I think the tabs on the side, the vertical tabs probably are the more ideal use of screen space, and I can concede that, but I'm just so used to having the tabs just normally on the top of my screen.
Okay, well, let's just talk about whether you're a psychopath or not. So, are you one of those people who have like the tab bar up at the top where everything is the minimum size tab, and you've got like the overflow scroll left and right dealy bob? Because
no,
if you do that, you are a pure psychopath. Like you should not have that many tabs open. You organize your life.
We have a coworker like that though,
right?
And every time he shares his screen, there is 7,000 tabs. It looks like up at the same time.
No, dude, no. Like,
so I am the opposite of that. I basically judiciously manage my tabs because to me, that this is part of having the horizontal tabs is that I like being able to see the tabs, so I can because I switch between tabs a whole lot. I mean, it's very common for me to be working on, say, like documentation where I need to be comparing two different things, and then I have this open, and then I have my testing environment where I have some code up, and so I'm going between tabs like insanely, and I can't have like 14 tabs, much less 200, which I've seen some people are at. I can't do that. I have to keep
that's crazy.
Pruned heavily.
Yeah.
I mean, how does your computer just not slow to a crawl if you've got that much memory devoted to
it's all
internet?
I mean, it's all just tabs. Like it's literally it's just like a list of
oh man, just quit
like
that program.
Nothing's
Start
running.
over.
Yeah.
Close that thing.
Still, Chrome does have a different process for every tab, and most browsers work that way now. Like you have to think that adds up a little bit, even if it is kind of aggressively pausing things. I don't know. I just don't know how some people do it, but
it's so common though that I think
a
lot of these browsers will basically be like, well, anything over like 4 tabs, we're gonna LRU this thing, and it's like we're not gonna like come on,
Well,
like,
it's common because these browsers keep coming up with like there's all this stuff with tab grouping and tab sorting and all this, and I'm like, how many
people are doing
just
it?
Don't like what are you doing? Yeah.
It's new. But then again, bookmarking. You just leave the tab open forevermore.
What? Like, and then the people that have like 10,000 items in their email box, of which 95% are unread. It's like,
oh my god, that's my parents.
Why even
so
have
much
email?
Junk email.
There's an unsubscribe button. If it's and if they won't honor that, just like create a rule. But whatever. Okay. Any other lightning round of this week?
Yes, we do have another bit. This is interesting. This is kind of like coming full circle almost. So there was a tweet on X, which I think came from like news from Google or some semi-reputable tweeter, But basically, Apple and Google have entered into a multi-year agreement that the next generation of Apple Foundation models are going to be based on Google Gemini models. So I think that this means that they're no longer going to use OpenAI to help Siri be smarter. They're not going to use their own tech, which is what we've been kind of promised and waiting for 4 years now. And it makes me wonder if Apple is kind of officially bowing out of the AI game, if they're going to really rely on Google under the hood.
They're bowing out of the models game. They're not bowing out of like the application of AI game, which I think their thing was they don't really want to like give you a prompt like ever. That's not their jam. Their jam is to like just seamlessly integrate it into your workflows. It's almost that you almost never know it. It's just like, your app is just a little bit smarter kind of thing. And I think it's a good call. Like, I think Gemini in particular, like Google in terms of like their corporate, they're not, tainted by anything. They're not doing weird stuff, that sort of stuff. I mean, whatever. I mean, this public perception of them is pretty good. And the Gemini models always seem very professional to me. They're always like...
Yeah, it seems like a good fit for Apple, honestly.
Like Grok is a little, kind of fast and loose and crazy. Yeah. And, Claude's a little bit, kind of your buddy, Whereas, Gemini's very like, kind of more suit and tie kind of model.
I agree with you that it makes sense for them. I mean, supposedly the terms of this are $1 billion a year is what Apple is going to be paying Google. But if you think about it, Google pays Apple something like, I think the last year was $24 billion for Google to be the default search in Safari. So, I mean, if you have to throw $1 billion back their way to have a
just put it on my
usable
tab.
model for usable model for Siri, that seems like a pretty good arrangement for Apple.
A win. Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, it was so interesting, though, just based on the history of Apple Intelligence and how we've covered it on this show is, OpenAI was going to power it. Siri was going to be great. She was going to be so much smarter. That never happened. Then Apple Intelligence and like the shortened notifications and your phone trying to, mix messages and condense them for you. That was not good. Nobody liked that. And now Apple's just kind of not really, to me, and I haven't really been following Apple, like they have not been talking about intelligence. So it seems like
that's true.
They pulled all those ads. Those Apple Intelligence ads were everywhere for the longest time. And then they never shipped anything remotely related to that was any. I mean, they shipped some tiny little things that barely worked. And so I hope because like you said, this is one of our favorite lightning news topics. We like to dunk on Siri because it is so bad. And
it is so unbelievable. Even my wife is like, I hate Siri now. I'm like, oh, whoa. Okay. This is like, yeah.
So I legitimately hope that it gets better. We'll have to see when they actually ship this. We'll see before when we actually get this, because iOS releases, typically big ones, aren't until the fall, which is a long ways away. So I don't know if they'll push something out for this special. I don't know, but I am genuinely hoping Siri will get better. The bar is very low.
I mean, the latest iOS release, there was like no discussion of Apple Intelligence or improvements to that at all. So maybe this is part of the pullback that we're starting to see, because we've shared in our own Discord just some interesting articles that are starting to come out of like computer manufacturers like Dell or other bigger companies who are saying we're really not seeing the demand or the adoption of AI features that we're building into our products by our customers. So maybe we need to pull those back or not keep hyping them up because people don't like them, don't want to use them, don't understand them. So maybe this is more towards that genre of the hype train is calming down a little bit, slowing down.
Yeah, Dell is going to be selling the XPS line again, which that's another blast from the past.
XPS line? Oh my God.
Do you not have a Dell XPS
I might,
computer?
Actually. Yeah. Okay.
I probably had 2 or 3 of them back in the day. That was their...
Right. I don't know, get like a mid-tower now? Like, oh God. Oh. remember those like 5-pound laptops? Ugh,
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, joy. Yeah. It's interesting. Like we're definitely getting this like divergence between like the folks that like use AI and love AI, and then the folks who are like, no, I hate this stuff. Like, you know, blah blah blah. You know, like it's that gap is widening. Like, oh my God. Like I hate soldering. It's like this thing. Like I can't do it well. You know, it's just all. I mean, any project that involves soldering, I'm like, oh God, soldering, man, I hate that. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna bite the bullet. I've got this one, you know, this idea that I need, you know, whatever. I need some soldering on it. I'm gonna let Claude teach me how to solder, and I'm gonna act like a total idiot, and I'm just gonna like say I blah 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 blah, and like, you know, and have it walk me through it, and it worked. And it's like, you remember that scene from The Matrix where it's like, I know Kung Fu. It's like, I know how to solder now. And it's because I literally just was like, hey, you know, my flux is all clumpy. And it's like, oh, well, that's dried out. That's not right. You should get new flux. I'm like, okay, you know, and it's like, oh, I use the needle point tip, and it's like, no, you shouldn't be using that. You should be using the chisel point. Chisel point gives you a better surface area, and so it's like it tells you why. It gives you information, and you can be as stupid as you want, and as long as you're willing to like bite the bullet and be like, I don't know things, I'm willing to learn. You can learn a lot from.
If you're more
AI.
stupid, it's better. Actually, I found, like, because it'll dumb it. It won't assume things. It'll just lay it out for you.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
I had a somewhat
Don't
similar
try to be
experience.
Smart. Yeah, exactly. Don't try to be smart. Yeah.
AI. So obviously for tech, we talk about on the show all the time how it helps us and whatever. But for non-tech things, the main thing AI has done for me is made me smarter about things just around the house, things that I previously would not be capable of handling, and even just little things. So we had it's very cold here. My kids have been sick. We have a thermometer, a smart thermometer that you just run across your forehead. Well, the thing suddenly stopped working for like no apparent reason. And this is like a $50 little thing. So I didn't want to just casually go out and get a new one. And I went over, like, Claude's like, well, we're going back and forth about the battery and whether that's an issue and how I can test the battery. So I'm learning a bit about that.
Right.
And then finally it's taking me through the different potential errors. It's researching errors for me online.
Yeah.
And eventually it helped me figure it out. The problem was that at least this brand of temperature thermometers that I have don't work under 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And so the reason it stopped
room
working
was just too cold.
is we have our furnace set really low overnight, and it's been so cold here, like incredibly cold.
Yeah.
That like when the furnace kicks in the morning, it's. I mean, I'm waking up to like 50 some degrees commonly the last few days because it's just that cold. And so this thermometer just got too cold to work, and it has like some sort of built-in thing that says, you know, if it's under X degrees, it just throws up this screen. It just says air, of course. It doesn't give you any.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It doesn't give you any hint. You know, maybe an error code might be nice, so I could look something up. But like, no, it's just air.
You don't
just
get
error.
that.
But like,
no error.
I mean, if it weren't for Claude, though, I would have thrown it away. I would have bought another $50 another one because I would have assumed that the thing just was defective at this point.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
Amazing.
And
anyways,
that is really wild, by the way, that like 60 degrees Fahrenheit for
That's not very low.
right?
Yeah.
That's
not low.
It's so weird.
That
It's
is weird.
Braun thermometer too, but like I tested. Sure enough, like Claude had me. I've got a little space heater over here, so Claude and I were over at the space heater. We warmed it up, and sure enough,
That's hilarious.
it started
Yes.
working again.
Yeah, and
So
you get innovative. You get like, oh, well, I have this. Oh, well, you can do that. You know, like it's great. Like I was like, okay, so cool. I need new flux. And then I asked, okay, so where do I get flux in the Portland area? Like, I don't want to go to Amazon. And, it was like, oh, okay. And then like researches and it finds this crazy little electronics store that turns out to be freaking really cool. And it's like, it's just amazing. And if you like let if you just let AI help you, it can be really valuable. But I think like there's this kind of like contamination of folks, and this like, oh, I hate AI. Yeah.
We are totally off the rails at this point, but I'm gonna keep going because
that's
why I think there's potential for. There's also rumors that Apple is working on another one of these like AI pin devices that there's been some attempts to make, basically just some sort of pin. This is also kind of a rumor of what OpenAI has been working on as well.
Oh, like the companion pin that rides around with you?
Yeah. And that's why I continue to think there's some potential there, because the thing is, I'm still, throughout this experience with my thermometer, right, I'm going to my phone and I'm just using the mic and going this in. I can totally see if it's like clipped to me and I'm just talking to it and we're going back and forth. I think there's potential there, but I think somebody has to make it seamless enough that I'd actually be okay carrying something like that around. But
yeah. And I think that's part of what people hate about AI at the same time, is that there are people not like you, TJ, who just want to use it to solve a problem or learn something. They want it to be their girlfriend, their boyfriend, their therapist, their doctor, their companion. And people are like, no, stop talking to robots, start talking to other human beings, go out, touch grass, or, don't talk to yourself.
Or that other people are using these things to spy on them or to harass them.
Or
there's a lot of dark side to all this stuff as
well.
It's
clearly.
Oh, God. Do you remember when Google Glass first came out and people are like, I'm in the locker room and this weirdo over here's got his Google glasses on and I don't know if he's taking video or taking pictures or doing all kinds of strange stuff. And you're just like, what?
Yeah, and now it all seems so quaint. Now that we all have we can all take 4K video of anything at any time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, now the Ray-Bans from Meta, they've got...
that's basically just a modern Google Glass. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Paige, you have any AI change my life story?
I'm trying to think of one. We've been having fun just kind of using the voice option on ChatGPT to ask it just random questions about stuff, and it'll tell us more information. So, understanding the differences. My husband was renting pickup trucks for work recently, so he was asking it to tell him the differences between the different Ford F50s series pickup trucks and like towing capacity and how much they can haul and things like that. So it's just being able to, just ask those random questions when they come up that you'd normally either have to remember and Google later on, or just, just spur of the moment conversation stuff. So that's really kind of the things that we've been using it for most recently. I can't think of anything super like life-changing that I've done with the house with ChatGPT yet, but I'm sure it'll come up. No doubt in the near future.
Cool. All right. Well, let's talk about what's making us happy.
Yeah.
All right. Paige, what's making you happy this week?
The book Onyx Storm is what's making me happy this week. Yeah. Okay. I think it's the third installment in the Fourth Wing series, which TJ has read, and Jack, I think you and your wife have all read it.
No, my wife hasn't read it, but I've read it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, she should get on board. I think she would enjoy it.
She should. Yeah. I'm surprised she hasn't, actually, to be honest.
Yeah. But it's great. It's got dragons, it's got magic, it's got romantasy, if you like that genre. And it was just really fun to read. Like every time I would put it down, I wished that I had more time to continue reading it. And it's a big book, so it'll take you a while to get through. But I really enjoyed the other two, and this one did not disappoint. It had a really great cliffhanger twist ending as well. So yeah, it was a very fun read, and now I wish the next one was out so I could just keep on going.
Yeah, it'd be amazing to see what they come up with in terms of like a TV show for this. I know that like when we started on Fourth Wing as a podcast, we all kind of seemed to start around like the same time. They were, I had licensed it, but I have no idea where it is in production and all that. Of course, we hit up the Claude.
It is going to cost. It's going to cost them a fortune to do this one. But if you've got like HBO money for Game of Thrones, sure, go for it.
It's not HBO money, it's Amazon money, because Amazon was the one
money
that acquired the rights to. But that there's been no news. So I just looked it up because I was curious. And there's a few articles from last year about everything we know and what to expect, but nothing is solid out this year. But I imagine we're probably due for like an early teaser trailer coming up in the near future.
Well, and Amazon did cancel Wheel of Time, which was supposed to be kind of their competitor to Game of Thrones. So this probably frees up some money for Fourth
And Wheel
Wing.
of Time was not cheap.
Oh,
Wheel
gosh,
of Time.
no.
Oh my. Yeah, that was an expensive show. Yeah. But there's also that the Middle Earth one, like the Rings of
Lord
Power.
The Rings something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Rings of Power. They're continuing to push that horse.
We'll see how
Have you
long
guys
they
seen
continue.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms yet?
Not yet. It just came
I
out,
heard
right?
it's good.
Yeah, it just came out, just the first episode, and it's different. It's a very different Game of Thrones show. It's not the Game of Thrones you remember. Like, so yeah, I'll be interested to see what you guys think about it. All right, TJ, what you got?
I got two different series that I followed up on this week. So the first is Only Murders in the Building, which season 5 for that came out, I think a month or two ago.
How many murders can you get in the same freaking building before they just bulldoze the building? They're like, this is cursed.
What's funny though is that they're very much in on the joke, so they poke fun at that throughout the entire thing. In fact, it's like the very last moment of the entire show. There's a pretty fun twist on that, and it's just, it's not the world's greatest writing, but it's just a fun time. They kind of know what the assignment is, and they just bring in a bunch of celebrities, a bunch of great actors are a part of this. There's crazy good cameos throughout the entire series. And so it's just a fun time, right? It's just a fun thing. And the last season was just right in line with the others. It was just a really fun one to watch through. And then the other one is I finished the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. So I just finished book 7. And man, it keeps going throughout. Like the momentum builds, and book 7 was definitely one of my favorites of the entire series. I had a really great time with this. And in fact, I'm starting to listen to some of the audiobooks. So I finished the first audiobook and I'm on to the second one. And man, it's just so fun. And book 8 is coming in May. So I've got a couple months to wait now. But man, that series was just such a fun time.
Oh, that's great. I need to put that on my list, my short list of things to listen or read or listen to, I guess.
It's good, and the first book is pretty short, and you'll know right away if it's your thing or not. So you'll either be addicted to it, or you'll be like, this isn't really for me. So it's definitely worth checking out.
Awesome. What's making me happy this week is that Mike Haynes lost, but that's okay because they did really, really well against Indiana. I would say were it not for like one blocked punt, They might have actually won that game against an absolutely just almost perfect Indiana team. But that was great. It was a football game for the ages. It was just a fantastic game. So definitely worth a watch. And being in a crowd of Canes fans with a few Indiana fans thrown in was just absolutely hilarious. So
they had a lot of I thought they were going to win because late game they had the momentum, but they just made a few mistakes, and that'll do it. But it was a great game. As a somewhat neutral observer, it was good. I stayed up late to watch it, and I did not regret it.
And then one more thing is that I have recently started a different song, learning a different song, which is Bruce Springsteen's "Born to Run." And I'm just enjoying that song. It's so energetic and so fun. And I had kind of like gotten to that point where I was like, oh, do I want to keep going with guitar? I don't really feel like I'm like picking it up when I'm not, like saying I need to practice, that kind of thing. But like last night I was like, just getting ready to go to bed. And I'm like, I'm just going to do a couple more riffs of this. And like, and it just finally like clicked. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good song. So,
Nice.
just find one that works for you,
Yeah.
Yeah, you enjoy playing. All right. Well, yeah, this has been a fun episode. So, of course, join us over on the Discord server in our channel, and you can ask us anything you want to and give us any feedback on the show and what you want to hear, to see, and all that stuff. Of course, hit us up on YouTube. You can actually watch the show if you want to do that. And, of course, in the meantime, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. See everybody.
All right.
See you then.